So, where to begin? It's Labor Day. My mother went to work. She came over after work and we cleaned up the apartment a little bit. She got ready to go. It was almost 7 o'clock. She left. Was outside talking for a little bit. Was taking out a little bit more trash. And so I told my mom, I'm like, oh no, you can go ahead and go because I'm just gonna, I'm gonna dump this stuff in the trash. I'm just gonna walk a little bit. So I hatched these eggs on Pokemon Go. Walk around for a little bit, not even anything intense. Probably wouldn't make a difference very much in the hatching process. Excuse me. So I walked over to the dumpster, threw a couple things away in the trash. So I started to walk up this little path behind, leading to other apartments up top. And then I stopped because I was like, oh no, that's right, cicadas. Let me not get caught. So let me walk back. Took my time, walked slowly to the other end, back the other way, past my apartment building to the apartment building that's down at the end where it turns and bends. It's a couple apartment buildings. And so I stop, try to catch something. I don't really recall. That's neither here nor there. But turned around to walk back. And I look up. And right where my apartment building, it's in the apartment building that I am in, I looked up and I saw the screen to the apartments that's on the third floor. I'm on the second floor and the third floor. Saw the screen fall out and a little girl fall out the window. And I'm still shook about it. Seeing the little girl, she fell out of the window, brushed against the side, hit the gutter that's running right across the top. Cartwheeled and fell face down on the ground. Like her knees were kind of under her, palms down. She let it right on her face, and I tried to run over it. Well, I have my clothes on, so I can't do but so much running, but I ran as quickly as I could over to her. And she wasn't really, because when she fell and hit the ground, she didn't move at all. So I ran over there, and the first thing I can think, like, I turned her over because she kind of moved a little bit, but I don't believe that she was conscious because she wasn't making any sounds. She really wasn't moving. It was just barely. So I turned her over and she kind of started crying a little bit. And I was holding her. I was dumb, but that's not what you think of when you see a baby fall. I was just like, oh my God, I want to pick her up and cradle her. Like, it's just what I think of first. I know you're not supposed to move them, my baby, but it's a baby. Well, she's not, she's 3 years old, but she's a baby to me. And I'm just like, oh my goodness. So I turned her over, so I was getting ready to pick her up. And this guy was like, from across the parking lot, I just hear a guy say something. I really don't know where he was in relation because I wasn't really paying attention to anything. I'm just looking at this little girl, and he's like, don't move her too much. And so I was thinking, that's right, you're not really supposed to, but I can't help it. It's a little girl. And it just is like, okay. So I had her turned over from off of her face, and I could notice on the left side of her face, it was scraped a bit, pretty superficial, and she was crying a little bit. But before that, her mother, had screamed out the window. She had looked out the window, and I looked up. She was screaming. She was like, "My baby!" She was screaming, and so the only thing I could think of. It was dumb. Like, but that's all you can think of at the moment. Is I was like, come get her. And so she comes down from out of the she leaves out of the window. She comes down. This whole thing probably was about like 30 seconds from when I got over to the little girl to where she looked out of the window. So it wasn't that long. It was like right after the little girl initially cried, because what she said was she just stopped by her mother's apartment to use the bathroom real quick, probably like 5 minutes, and she went in to use the bathroom. She was gone for like a couple minutes, and that's when it happened, when the little girl must have climbed up, because the window was raised. She said she didn't know that the window was open, but the screen is there. But the screen's over here in the apartment building I'm in. Like, even in my room, like, it's weak. The screen's there, but it's not going to really, it doesn't really hold. You barely have to push it because it's not really secured on there. So the little girl must have climbed up, trying to look out of the window, and probably pressed against the screen, and that's when she fell out. So it was probably like 30 seconds between the time of the me getting to the little girl and her mother come to the window, and then a few seconds for her to run down them steps, because it's from the third floor. She came down outside and she called the ambulance. Without meantime, I'm holding the little girl like underneath her neck and her head, and just kind of like rubbing her chest, stomach, trying to keep her calm. And excuse me. And so she's on the phone. I let her mother take over because I'm like, this is her baby, but I just want to, I know that it's very traumatizing for both, and that, I was like, yeah, this is a job for her mother to do, to be here with her so that she is, remains calm. But the little girl looked like, she was crying, and then she kind of, I guess then she lost consciousness again for a moment, and then she regained consciousness, and she was, she was crying a bit. The mother,